The Virginia Theater is a historic space. It's listed on the National Registry. It was built in 1921, and it's something that we can always feel the love from the community. When they come in the building, they express that to us. When they interact with us on the phone or online, we get the stories. We hear about how it's meant something to their family members over time. And I think all of the spaces, the theater spaces, from Cranert to the Art to the Orpheum and the others, have some connection like that to the community and the life, the cultural life of the community. That to me is the magic. When you have that kind of a connection to your audience that goes beyond just what's the most exciting thing that has recently been released by Hollywood, which is great. It's just that there's more of an emotional and long-term commitment and connection to that audience because of all the stories from their past in those spaces.
Well, let's see, we've attended, I think, all of our married life. In fact, one of the first serious dates we had was to see Stevie Ray Vaughan there.
I think it's the ambience, I mean, it's a nice, it just looks nicer, you just feel like you're going to a movie theater when you go to the Virginia. Mm-hmm. The AMC, I go there a couple times, because they have the IMAX, and it's super big and loud.
But it's almost too loud now.
Oh, I just like looking at, there's a ceiling on the second floor that is just a marvel. It looks like a honeycomb-shaped ceiling, and they've painted it, and it's just, everybody that comes through there, I point that out to them, so they just go in there and just go, ah.
It's the honeycomb ceiling in the men's lobby,
Mm-hmm. And so it's just a beautiful place,
It is.
With a community theater, you're usually talking about a smaller room, one that's a little bit warmer in its emotional tone, and it feels like you're just having a more intimate experience with that artist because you're feet away from them, and it's a smaller, more intimate space. A community theater space like the Virginia is one that's open to all, and by that I mean it's the community members often who are producing the event on the stage, and there's really a richness to the community being the one that produces the content. They're there definitely as patrons and participants, but there's a magic that happens when they're the ones who are the creative driving force behind the event. Well, the Champaign Park District owns and operates the Virginia Theater, and has done so since 2000. And we're really trying to operate it as a community asset, as a space that you can see the Beach Boys one night, but then the next night your neighbor's on stage performing in a vocal group, or there might be a ballet featuring some of your friends or family members' children, and then the night after that it's Alison Krauss. So it's really a nice nexus of touring performance, professional performance, and then also the community events.
We're just so thankful that the Park District took it over when they did. I had the privilege of standing in the orchestra pit with Dan McCullum, the former mayor of Champaign, when he talked about, and it was one night for a history program, and he was talking about the effort to save the Virginia and bringing together business and money and desire, to put into that effort, because it could have easily just been a teardown at some point.
It was just a small window there where there's a lot of activist people with money, and also the Park District and the politicians all came together and did it.
It's an important resource.
And the people that just used to go there when they were kids, 60 years ago or whatever, they just lived there, and so it's nice that it's still there for them too.
It's special that every time I see people walking out of, whether it's the Art or the Virginia after a movie, and they're talking about it, Roger Ebert's there. He taught us how to think about film as art, as something that you should discuss. And it's really a neat feeling to be a part of that kind of long lineage.
I was really moved. One of the first times that I attended the art was for a documentary called Two Spirits that was followed by a panel with transgender individuals who talked about their experience transitioning, their experience of gender, and it was really fantastic discussion, but also you could really see that this was a very supportive environment that created space for these conversations to be had and for these people to openly talk about issues of critical importance. That made me realize what an important role the art had in the community and led me to support the art through my work on various levels. I think that a lot of people are still registering the fact that the art closed, and I don't think that the impact will be felt for a while.
It's a very common story. You see the local bookstore close. You see the local retailer that has been there forever selling, sundries for the home, or they might be a locally owned hardware store. Even those kinds of things are just going out of business everywhere.
We're poor for that, definitely.
And the kind of films they showed there, they couldn't show it to Virginia because it's just not. It would have to have that group of people to bring in that kind of show. They're new releases or independents, and so the Virginia's not set up for that kind of thing.
Not really, no.
I certainly don't think that Savoy or AMC could fill that gap. And I think that that will certainly be felt, especially as we see more and more films come out that engage issues about various aspects of contemporary life and that people want to talk about, but don't necessarily have the space or the forum to really grapple with these kinds of issues.
You hate to see that happen to theaters because there's just so much of an emotional impact that comes from, your family's been going to that space for the entire, generations, the entirety of your life maybe, and you remember going there as a little girl, and that really means something to people. We hate to see that go away.
We're just thankful we got to see the Linda Ronstadt documentary there. That was the last thing we saw.
You hate to see an art house like that was also experimenting with, second run film and film festivals and international film, just everything from across the range. You hate to see something like that not succeed. I think that it's expressing something about the change in the marketplace. It's always been a tough business being in single screen exhibition for film.
Certainly, you can see some of the films that the art was showing at Savoy and AMC, but Savoy and AMC certainly don't do these kinds of special events that pair films with experts or stakeholders, people who are really able to inform certain aspects of the film. It was really becoming incredibly hard for the art from all directions to continue to function in the way that it had functioned in the past. So I can see how it was becoming incredibly difficult for the art to remain sustainable. This is about forces that are much larger than any single one individual.
If there's a new effort for the art, then definitely come out and support it because it's special.
Whether it is by going to see movies there, whether it is by becoming a member, if you live in a community that has an art theater, support that theater because the work that these theaters are doing is very important, and they are a vital resource for a community, and they need our support in order to thrive.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy.